Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with our producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. The Burlington Board of Health is revisiting its rules for storing hazardous materials. Local officials say it will help keep residents safe as new businesses using new compounds move into town. BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles brings us this report.
The town's most recent regulations on the storage of hazardous materials were written in the 1980s and revised in the 1990s. Public health experts in town have spent months looking over the existing documents and creating more rigorous rules.
They were outdated. They were established back in the 80s, and I think we wanted to review them.
Right now, companies that store a certain amount of hazardous materials have to pay a fee and register with the town government. Under the new rules, companies will need to apply for a permit, which will give the town much more authority to keep a chemical out of town or revoke permission for a company that's not being safe.
Instead of a registration, this regulation requires that a permit be obtained. The bylaw requires that any institution storing hazardous materials in a cumulative quantity of 220 pounds, which is about 25 gallons, depending upon the material. The regulation has the same threshold, so it's the 220 pounds or 25 gallons. However, we have added extremely hazardous substances above the EPA threshold planning quantity. So there's a list, and that's provided in your backup material, of those extremely hazardous substances. And any EHS that is above the 220 pounds, where the threshold is above the 220 pounds or 25 gallons, has been highlighted on that list. So you can see on that list which chemicals would qualify for having to get a permit.
Hazardous materials have been in the news lately following the derailment of a train full of harmful compounds in Ohio this February. Chair of the Board of Health, Dr. Ed Weiner, says the board was already looking into updating its rules before that incident took place.
The Burlington Board of Health and its staff have been working to update this antiquated bylaw for months. We have created a regulation, something that can be a living document and something that can be changed as the environment changes and as the companies come to this community with different types of agents. But this is not in response to anything that just happened in Ohio. We've been working on this for a long time.
The new rules go into effect immediately. The Board of Health plans to ask town meeting to rescind the older bylaws in September. For BNews, I'm Sydney Bowles.
Planning is underway for Burlington's 225th anniversary celebration. The town was founded on February 28, 1799, making its 225th birthday February 28, 2024. In its most recent meeting, the town select board discussed all the different ways it could mark the milestone, everything from a parade to fireworks to a historic trolley ride. Officials say the celebration will likely be smaller than the town's 200th anniversary party in 1999, which took almost 3 years to produce, both because it's hard to find volunteers and because the COVID-19 pandemic delayed what could have been years of preparation. Still, the town is planning to vote on a proclamation naming 2024 Burlington's 225th anniversary year. Here's hoping there's a pretty big cake, because that's a lot of candles. The town of Burlington compartmentalizes its communications with the public into separate departments, and it lacks a centralized communications policy. Those are the two findings of a report from Edward J. Collins, Jr., Center for Public Management, a governance group based at UMass Boston. Burlington contracted with the Collins Center to develop a better approach to communicating with the public, and in a report presented to the Select Board this week, a Collins Center representative said each of Burlington's many departments have their approaches to communication, and the town could benefit from a more centralized approach. That could mean hiring a specialized communications professional for the town, or even creating an entire communications department. Not sure what the Ways and Means will think about that. The report was the result of Phase 1 of the Collins Center's work with the town. In Phase 2, Center staff plan to interview department heads, speak to members of the community, and present a final communications plan in June. Middle and high school teachers in Burlington are set to receive training on culturally responsive teaching from the Highlander Institute, a nonprofit that helps schools address inequalities in the classroom. It's part of ongoing efforts to integrate restorative justice into the school system. In a school committee meeting this week, Superintendent Eric Conti said some teachers had already received training from Suffolk University's Center for Restorative Justice, but the Highlander Institute classes were leveling the playing field for all teachers at the middle and the high school levels. The school committee this week also voted to name the high school entrance road after beloved Burlington bus driver Dottie Yaden, who passed away late last year. Members of the Yaden family attended the committee meeting for the vote. Dottie's youngest daughter, Victoria Kirshner, had this to say.
I want to say, you don't need like a special title to make a huge impact on people. I think after my mom was diagnosed and after she passed, we heard like story after story and of like the kids that she impacted, kids she didn't even drive just because they were siblings of kids that she drove. She knew all the kids' names, maybe not all the parents, but all the kids' names, where they lived, what school they went to, and she was a bus driver and she made such an impact. So you don't need to be famous and have a special title. You just care about kids and people, and you get a street named after you, I guess.
The school driveway is not an official state of Massachusetts road, so the town is free to put up a sign without any additional approvals. Burlington's local elections are coming up on April 1st, and among several contested races are 3 candidates vying for 2 open seats for school committee. BNEWS asked all 3 candidates the same questions about their campaign to help voters make an informed decision. Their full responses are available on our website, but here's a brief summary of what each candidate said about their campaign. Carl Foss, who has been on the committee since 2020, said he's running as a BPS parent who helped lead the district during the COVID-19 pandemic. He said his priorities include helping students readjust to school after the pandemic and improving communication between schools and families. Catherine Bond has also been on the committee since 2020 and is now serving as the committee chair. She said she'll prioritize filling the assistant superintendent position, advancing the Fox Hill School project, and expanding K-12 mental health services. And Jeremy Brooks, who's not currently on the committee, is running as an Air Force veteran with experience in management and budgeting. His priorities include renovating the Fox Hill School and the high school, recruiting and retaining teachers, and continuing to focus on STEM education. BCAT is hosting a debate between all 3 candidates later this month. Stay tuned for more information on that. Students from Burlington High will have artwork on display at the 27th Annual High School Art Show in Lexington. Our students have been there previously many times. The exhibit also features artwork from students in Bedford, Lexington, Minuteman, Waltham, and Winchester schools, and runs from March 4th to April 2. There are about 12 works by Burlington artists featured, and all of them are available to view on our website, but here are just a couple. Let's have a look. I guess there's one. Leahy Hospital and Medical Center has awarded over $200,000 to community organizations. The grant recipients focus on food access, mental health, transportation, and housing stability, and were identified through the hospital's recent Community Health Needs Assessment. Funding is going to the Burlington Council on Aging fitness classes, and Memory Cafe. Minuteman Senior Services and Saheli, which supports community health outreach for Arab and South Asian immigrants and their families, among other organizations. A community support project started during the early days of COVID-19 now has its own space to continue providing aid to families with small kids. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak takes us to We Care.
What started out in a home during quarantine, now occupying the former location of the Burlington Food Pantry, We Care has become a full-fledged nonprofit, providing essential needs for growing children.
So I just began collecting whatever I could and got it to whoever I could. So after a while, I decided to rent the space here and keep going.
I started as a volunteer, and I started a couple hours a week, which has kind of turned into almost every day.
The inventory comes from donations from so many wonderful people here in Burlington and beyond. I take very nice, gently used items. We put them right into the hands of those people. They actually get to come here to We Care and pick out what they need themselves.
The half-hour appointments that we set up are just so personable and dignified, and it's just you and us and nobody else. And you have all this time to go through the bin and just say, yes, he would love to wear those, or she would love to play with this toy, or these books are just wonderful.
Infant clothing to toddler and elementary school children and beyond. We have sizes up until 14, 16, but we also have some small and medium adult sizes for the kids that are bigger.
And then we have maternity clothes, lots of equipment for the moms to use, bottles and cribs and strollers and playpens and pack and plays.
We have new toys to give out if it's holiday time or if it's a child's birthday and they don't have the means to buy their child something, they can come here and get something. We put out the word that we were in need of some snow pants, and within days we got so many beautiful donations of snow pants as well as snow jackets and one-piece winter stuff for the children. And even though we know we're really in the home stretch for winter, we have people coming in daily for these items still. We Care Burlington is a unique place in that you don't have to go searching for items. If you come here, chances are you'll find most of what you need. It gives dignity. They can come here and feel good about picking out what they need and knowing that it's at no cost to them.
And I've found that We Care is also as much as a reuse and recycle as it is just for families that need things.
We have some moms coming in that are just about to give birth and they have nothing. They basically leave here as if they've had a baby shower. We just shower them with all kinds of really nice things so that we can get them off to a good start.
Call We Care, make an appointment, and just come in to see what we have to offer you.
Come by and see us. We would love to show you what we do. We would love to show you how you can get involved as a community member.
From We Care, I'm BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak.
The Burlington Board of Health is seeking exhibitors for the annual Community Health Fair. The fair is scheduled for May 20, and local organizations that want to participate will be provided a fable to showcase information about health, wellness, and safety. The fair's goal is to encourage healthy living through education, screenings, and activities, and at the same time increase awareness of local businesses that promote healthy living. It might be March, but the weather is still with us, of course. Chilly weather is still with us, although it's almost 50 today. BNews meteorologist Peter Brown has your weekly update, and stay tuned for your community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Well, everyone, this is Peter Brown with extra weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading in towards March, starting out our period on Friday. We're going to be seeing a chilly rain out there with some snow mixing in by the end of the day. Temperatures only upper 30s. As we get towards the end of the period into next Thursday, we're going to be seeing temperatures again in the mid to upper 30s, so much cooler than our average highs. It should be getting into the mid 40s at this time of the year. The only thing that really reminds us that we are heading towards official start of spring is the length of day keeps getting longer and longer. I know we've got a lot of daylight now there out at night, so after you're getting out of work, it is getting much nicer out there. Looking at our temperature map, this is something we have not seen much of at all this winter at all. Expecting a pretty good chance of below average temperatures here in the Burlington area and across much of the northern tier of the country. But at least a caveat to that is looking at our precipitation chances. Looks like they're expecting us to have a fairly good chance of drier conditions. So fortunately, we're going to have a little bit of a hiccup starting out your weekend Friday and Saturday, but thereafter it looks like it is going to dry out pretty nicely out there. So let's go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. We're going to see a messy mix of rain and snow here in the Burlington area. Much more in the way of rain on Friday, a little bit more snow mixing in there overnight and into the morning on Saturday. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, so pretty chilly, pretty raw out there. Doesn't look like right now we're going to be seeing a ton of snow. We're going to have to keep an eye and see how much rain mixes in with that. But then thereafter, as we get into Sunday, that storm is going to clear out of here completely. It's going to stay kind of cloudy, maybe some flurries out there, and temperature's going to dip a little bit down to the low to mid 30s. Then the sun returns for the start of the work week. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to see our temperatures inch up a little bit each day, starting out in the mid 30s on Monday and getting into the mid 40s by Wednesday. Now, as we get in towards Thursday, we're going to see the chance of some clouds moving back in, maybe some spotty mixed rain, snow showers, and temperatures cooling off again down into the upper 30s. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. On March 8th from 7 to 8 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having an event called Pour Paint Night for children in grades 6 through 12. Pre-registration is required. To register, go to burlingtonpubliclibrary.org. On March 9th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Burlington Community Scholarship Foundation is having an event called Fun at Dave & Buster's. Online tickets are open until March 6th. For more information and tickets, go to the following website. On March 11th from 1 to 3 p.m., 3rd Avenue will be having live ice sculpting on the green. For more information, go to thirdavburlington.com. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your community calendar.
Now let's turn to sports, where Anthony Matos has all the details and a very special update on one Burlington basketball star.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos in this weekly sports report. A number of teams are in the playoffs at BHS, so we have the scoop on what's happening. Girls basketball completed the preliminary round against Ursuline Academy. Let's go to the highlights.
The Lady Devils as they did battle with Ursuline Academy on their home court. In the first period, the Devils took off as they scored 26 points while UA scored 8. The Devils added another 13 in the second and UA with 7, 39-15 at half Burlington. Burlington added another 14 points in the third and UA with 16, 56-31 after 3. The ladies finished it off in the fourth with an additional 11 points and UA had 18. 67-49 was the final.
It was also a special evening for senior Olivia Pena, who scored her 1,000th point during the game. I have this report.
Suhu down court, Pena make it.
A historic moment was made by one of the seniors of the girls' basketball team. Olivia Pena surpassed her 1,000th point in her career.
It feels great. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted this as a kid, and I didn't think it was possible at a point, and now that it is, it feels amazing.
Everyone came out and showed their support that evening for Olivia.
Oh, it feels great. It's the best thing in the world. Nothing no more you could ask for, you know what I mean? So it's good. She's always been a team player. I think this year she took more of stepping back and letting the younger girls kind of like step up.
Coach McKay couldn't have been more proud of her athlete's accomplishment and how she has been making an impact for this team.
That's about as good as it gets. Certainly, she hit some threes in the first half where she clearly was feeling it, so, I ran a few plays to get her more looks. We hoped it was coming. And even if it didn't, she goes down as the school record holder for points scored, and her impact on this program is monumental. So to be a kid 4 years, postseason every single year, technically not that COVID year because we didn't have a postseason, but 13-win year. So to have multiple seasons, all 4 seasons, 10 or more wins, she's left that impact.
From the Vanilla Gymnasium, I'm Anthony Matos for BNEWS Sports.
The team competed in Newburyport in the round of 32 of the playoffs on March 2nd, where their season ended after a 56-31 defeat. 4 seniors are departing from the team in the offseason: Cassidy Suhu, Ava and Ali Restivo, and Olivia Pena. Boys basketball will compete at Canton High School in the round of 32 MIA playoff matchup on March 3rd. After taping, the game is still to be played. Senior and Devils Molly Maroney was at Reading Memorial High School for the MIA Girls All-State Tournament on February 24th and 25th. Maroney had 3 wins and 1 loss in the 100 weight class and placed 3rd. Her wins were against Jalen Edmonds of Josiah Quincy School in Boston twice and Allison Seven of Watertown. Her 1 loss was to Samantha Bertini of Ludlow. Molly was the first Devil to compete in the girls' states. Congrats to Molly on this accomplishment. The Lady Devils competed in the MIA Sectionals Tournament on February 25th at Algonquin Regional High School. Burlington came in 7th place out of 12 and came in with a score of 140.26. You can check out the full results at bcattv.org/sports. The team will compete at the MIA State Championship at Algonquin Regional High School on March 4th. Girls hockey had a playoff matchup against Norwell High School on March 1st. We go to the highlights.
Girls hockey were in the round of 32 MIA playoffs against Norwell at the Burlington Ice Palace. In the first period, the Devils scored first with a goal by Caitlin Tremblay, 1-0 after 1. Lexi McKinnon scored another goal for Burlington in the second, 2-0. Norwell got on the board in the second as well, 2-1. In the third, Burlington scored 2 more goals, one by Tremblay and Anna Viglione. Norwell had one more goal before the end of the game. 4-2 was the final, Burlington.
Burlington is in the Sweet 16 round of the playoffs and will compete against Winchester at the O'Brien Ice Rink in Woburn on March 4th. Boys Oz Hockey finished the season with a game against Medford in the consolation round of the Ed Cahoon tournament. Burlington lost the game 3-2 and finished the season with an overall record of 5-14-2. 8 seniors are graduating in the offseason, including Kobe Sloan, Jay Singleton, Jonathan Jay, Dylan O'Reilly, Ryan Kane, Will Curtin, Alex Healy, and Arthur Welch. We wish all the seniors the best of luck in their future. Athletes on both Burlington track teams competed at the MIAA Meet of Champions on February 25th. Senior Grace Hannafin was named the Massachusetts State Champion in her performance in the long jump, 17-8.5. In addition, a couple of athletes on the team were given Middlesex League awards, including All-Stars Cora Laverty in the 55-meter hurdles, Alitha Walensky in the 300-meter, Hope Hannafin in the 600-meter, and All-Conference Grace Hannafin in the 300-meter, and Char Collins with the long jump. The league MVP was given to Grace Hannafin. You can check out the full results for both the girls and boys at bcattv.org/sports. Devil runners Anthony Abbott, 51.74. Colin Irwin, Dylan Giles, Elijah Walensky ran with 7 other college schools in the 1600 relay and had a school record of 328.55 in their performance on February 26th in the last chance indoor qualifier at the BU Center. For more Red Devil action, go to bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. That's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
As usual, we finish the broadcast with a photo of the week. This one's sent in by our viewers. This week is Steve Moran's shot of the Captain William Smith House in Lincoln during a recent snow. We'd love to share your photos. If you have anything you think interesting, send them to us at bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. And that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Sydney Bowles, Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, Peter Brown, Gretchen Carey, and Anthony Matos. Thank you for joining us.